Tracy. Well, welcome to our Wings Over Water Bird Show. My name is Colleen, together with Liz right over there. And together, we're going to take you on a trip around the world, and we're going to introduce you guys to a lot of birds we have from all over. And we'll be telling you a little bit more about those birds and their environments. But before we get started, I have a small favor to ask of everyone. So you guys can come on in and grab a seat, get nice and comfortable before I ask this favor. All right. Now I do need everyone to please remain seated while any of the birds are out here on stage. You want to come on in and scoot in real quick? Good. Okay, so everyone's going to remain seated because we have a lot of birds coming up close and personal to you guys, and this is for your safety because a lot of these birds are pretty dangerous, and we don't want anyone getting hurt from any of those dangerous birds that might be coming out and taking a look. It's been a while. Just kidding, guys. I can tell from your laughter that didn't fool you one bit. So that's of course just a rooster. He's not dangerous. But he is out here to emphasize that very important point, and that's about as close as a lot of the birds are going to come to you guys. So it is very important that you don't stand up, make a lot of noise. Definitely don't try to reach out and touch any of our birds. Again, it's not only for your safety, it's also for the safety and comfort of our animals. But if you guys do need to exit at any point during the show, that's perfectly fine. We just ask that you wait until the birds are behind the scenes with Trainer Liz, and that both bird and trainer are behind that door before you stand up to exit. Or if you need to stand up and move seats around, just wait until those guys are behind the door. And if you guys are exiting in the middle of the show, that's fine. Just use this side with our volunteers and docents in their yellow shirts, and they'll help you out. Just give it a nice big wave. She'll be there for you. Sound good? All right, we ready to take off with those birds? All right, well, how many of you guys like spending time with your family and friends? Yay! Yeah, most of you guys. Probably a big reason why you're here at the zoo today. And for a lot of birds, this is also the case, but usually birds like owls, hawks, and eagles are what we call solitary animals, and they spend most of their time alone. Now, there's one hawk that's the exception to this rule because she likes spending time with her family and friends because it helps to ensure her survival out in the wild, and that bird is going to be the Harris hawk. So please meet Austin. She's our female Harris hawk flying on out. Now, I did mention that Harris hawks are social. So they're doing a social behavior called group hunting. It's where a bunch of Harris hawks come together and they hunt together so they can take down much larger prey items that can feed more birds for longer periods of time. Now, these guys are native to the desert areas around Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. And hunting out in those deserts means you need to be up very high to see over a very far distance in the desert. But sometimes the highest place in a desert is a telephone pole or electrical line. And unfortunately, electrocution has resulted in about a 50% decline in our population of Harris hawks. Now, that's also affecting perching vertebrae right here in Florida, like the bald eagle. So if you guys would like to help out, I just encourage you guys to talk to your local electricians and promote the insulation of wiring and underground wiring. Both methods are very effective in keeping those birds safe. What do you guys think of meeting Austin, that Harris hawk?
Get their name Hornbill from that little bump they have on the top of their beak. So we call that a casque. And there's some debate among scientists as to what a casque is used for. One possibility is that it helps with acoustic function. It gives these birds a really unique sound. Another possibility is that it helps them tell the difference between each other because every bird's casque is a little bit different from the next. Also, Darla is a female, but males have much larger casques, so it could also help with mate selection. I'm having to compete with displaying grapple over there. That's some more natural behavior for you. He's courting his female. So those of you who are close by can probably see her beautiful long eyelashes. See that? So they're actually just modified feathers. It's not hair like our eyelashes. Well, I like to say that she'd give any Maybelline model a run for her money. Some people think she's wearing mascara, but I say, nope, she's born with it. The other interesting thing about these guys is that they are completely fearless. Did you guys know they've been known to attack lions that get too close to their young? What did you guys think about meeting Darla?
Those are what we call a monogamous bird, which means they spend their entire life with just one partner and one mate. Now with that mate, they'll raise their young to almost complete adulthood. And that is a pretty big undertaking for the macaw. It takes about 2 years for those young to leave the nest, and they're not going to lay or hatch out any other eggs. So these guys are dedicated parents. Now they're also spending a lot of time in a flock or family group doing things like building nests and foraging or looking for food together. The types of food the macaws are looking for out in the wild are things like fruits, nuts, and seeds. That's the favorite food of the macaw. Now these guys do rely pretty heavily on that rainforest environment that they live in. But you guys might know that South American rainforest is depleting pretty quickly due to deforestation and human development. If you guys want to help out, you can do simple things like getting involved in your city's recycling plans. That's something everyone can do. And then for you adults out there, just like these two specific birds are so local. They were actually born right here at the Palm Beach Zoo. Please join me in welcoming Spork and Teaspoon. They are our two roseate spoonbills. Here they come. Now they get that name spoonbill for that reason that they have a bill and it's shaped a little bit like a spoon. It's actually a sifting bill with nerves at the end of their beak so they can wave it around back and forth in the water and feel their prey moving, like fish and bugs, even frogs. But their favorite tends to be crustaceans, and that's how they got that beautiful pink coloration out in the wild, simply by eating things like shrimp and crabs. Now that pink color is very highly prized, and in the 1920s, spoonbills were heavily hunted. People wanted those feathers for decorative things like ladies' hats and fans. And in fact, our spoonbill numbers did decrease very heavily, but luckily we were able to conserve that population and really help out that Everglades environment. But something else that you guys can do to help out that Everglades environment is just buy eco-friendly and organic produce. Sometimes farming and agriculture in the area can drain the Everglades of their moisture, destroying that habitat that these and other animals rely on. So making those eco-friendly and organic decisions every time you shop, especially at the grocery store, is one of the easiest ways to help out animals all around the world, and even a few close to home, like the spoonbill here.
So the national bird of South Africa, so they are highly revered there. And they spend a lot of their time in the grasslands, like the southern ground hornbills. But when it's time to nest and lay their eggs, they move into much higher elevations. And it's up to the female to do the incubation, and it's up to the male to protect the nest against predators. And you know, that nest really isn't a nest at all. It's really just a piece of bare ground. Maybe there's a blade of grass. Now, perhaps what cranes are best known for is their beautiful dancing. They have this amazing display where they bob up and down, open up their wings, but they save that display for courtship and to ward off threats. Now, I'm neither a potential girlfriend nor a potential threat, so I can't give Stanley a reason to dance. But we have taught him to clean up the stage, and that works just as well for our purposes. What did you guys think about meeting Stanley, our blue crane?
Lavender, do you guys have any ideas on what's coming out? We got some bird experts, but it's not just any vulture. Please welcome Picasso. He's our king vulture.
Now, king vultures are one of the largest species of vultures in Central and South America, except for condors, of course. And they have a really powerful beak, so they have an important role to play in nature. They use that beak to rip open and tear apart the carcasses of the animals they find. Then vultures with smaller beaks, like turkey vultures or black vultures, will come along and pick the bones clean, so nothing is ever wasted. We can think of vultures as nature's recyclers. Now, these guys have an interesting adaptation to cope with the heat. People are mammals. Mammals all have sweat glands, but vultures do not. So believe it or not, these guys will actually urinate down their legs. And as the moisture evaporates, it cools them down. Anybody out there want to cool off like a vulture? Yeah, I can usually get a couple of kids raising their hands. Ask mom first. Well, the other adaptation these guys have is that they have an almost completely bald head. And that's important because they spend so much time with their faces buried in carcasses. So that meat and that fluid will bake in the sun, and then it dries up and falls right off. So it's very hygienic. All right, one last flight to stage. What did you guys think about meeting Picasso, our king vulture? And red-tailed hawks are the most abundant species of hawk in North America. Their range actually extends as far south as Panama. But this particular bird came to us from Maryland. A farmer discovered him in the barn, and he was stuck between two hay bales with his wings straight up in the air. So we're not sure if he was chasing something or if he was trying to get away from something, but he did sustain an injury to his right wing. So the farmer took him to a rehabilitation center, and they were able to patch him up. But unfortunately, because of that wing injury, he can't be released back into the wild. He doesn't have the agility or the endurance that he would need to catch prey. So he has a home here with us, and as you guys can see, he makes these short flights pretty easily. All this exercise is great for his cardiovascular system and his muscular health. So, what? Welcome to the splash zone. Not quite like SeaWorld. Now, if you guys are ever to find an injured animal in the wild, the best thing you can do is take him to a rehabilitation center like the farmer did. But the thing I want you guys to remember is that not every baby bird that you find on the ground is necessarily injured. Because every spring, baby birds will fledge. They leave the nest for the very first time. And they don't have the skill or the strength to fly with their parents, so they end up on the ground. People think they're injured, but most of the time they're not injured at all. And if you watch closely, you can usually see the parents are nearby, and they'll continue to feed the baby while he's on the ground. So the best thing is to just leave him alone, and within a couple hours or maybe a day or two, he'll be up flying with his parents. Sound good? Did you guys learn something from Ajax the Red-tailed Hawk today?
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. This was Ajax on Red-tailed Hawk.
Take a step back, stay behind those potted plants that surround your area. Don't get any closer. All right. Cheryl, come do your thing.
That's how we know.
Figure it out.
Looked at it.
So all but that one. I think she did pretty good. All right. Do you guys have any questions about Cheryl or her training?
Oh, I see. There's some